In this episode, we're going to be talking about AI and how it affects your everyday life and what the future of it might look like. What's up, friends? Paul here, and welcome to The Beautiful Mess, where we talk about tools and tactics to improve your life. I'm your host, Paul Didis, a YouTuber, content creator, and podcaster who's super excited today to talk to you about AI, what it is, why you should care, and what the future might look like with it. First off, I am a big fan of certain tools that AI allows you to use. For example, one AI tool that is very practical for anyone that has a podcast and is interested in getting a good sound, for that matter, also a YouTuber, anyone that has audio that they want to clean up and make it sound professional. Maybe they don't have a great mic. Maybe they don't have the resources to hire a professional to edit their audio. There is Adobe Podcast AI. This AI is amazing. I've used it a couple of times and I've been very impressed by the results that I get with this AI. It's very well done. There are times where it doesn't give perhaps the best results, but generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with the results that I've been getting with the AI. Just pretty much there's not many parameters that you can set right now. You just upload your audio and then it basically cleans it up, gives you a file to download. And that's much cleaner. Maybe you recorded it on your phone. Maybe you recorded the audio on your camera's built-in mic. Oftentimes that's not a great mic. However, the results that you can get with it are phenomenal. So if you're interested in leveling up your audio quality, definitely check out Adobe Podcast AI right now. I believe it's free for you to use. So if you're interested in checking that out, I encourage you to do that sooner than later, because that might be something that they take away in the future. Obviously, one of the biggest AI right now is ChatGPT. They just released version 4 of it, which is supposedly many times better than the previous edition. So that's something to realize, is that AI is getting more and more capable as time goes on. And I think it's going to be one of those exponential things that kind of like how our computers, I think is it Murphy's Law? There's like this law that over a certain period of time, the capabilities, like I think it's like double, or there's some kind of math to like how, for example, the computing power of computers, like it would significantly ramp up. And so I think that's right now where we're at with the AI. We're just at the beginning stages and people are just testing what this AI is capable of. And it's amazing. I mean, so you have things like ChatGPT that are very text-based. You can use it to ask it for many different things. Let me tell you, for example, one thing you could ask ChatGPT is to build you a custom PC, give you the list of parts. So let's say you're interested in building a PC. This is something I was curious to see, and you can set parameters, say like, hey, I want to make it less than this amount. Maybe you want to specify, use this CPU, use this RAM. It's amazing that you can go into this level of specificity. I can't say that word, but you can specify the details, and it takes that into consideration and generates something that probably would save you a lot of time Googling this information. I've used it for outlining podcast episodes. I've used it for generating like email ideas, and it's not perfect and you need to go back and probably edit some things, but it gets you really close in a short amount of time. Is it perfect? Again, probably not right now. There's some things that need to be tweaked. There are things that need to be tweaked, but other than that, it's amazing how close you can get to a solid end result within seconds. And it's probably both exciting, but also terrifying, because a lot of people are now wondering, what does the future of job markets look like? What is the future for creative people, or for people that have certain positions that now ChatGPT honestly can, solve certain things in a short amount of time? Does that impact their employability or their position? Is it going to go out of, there's going to be less of a demand? And I would say yes and no. So yes, in the sense that I think AI is becoming much more usable on a daily basis. I've used the art, like the, what is it? I think Stable Diffusion. It's one of the art AI. You have things like Midjourney, but Stable Diffusion, they have this one for Mac called Diffusion B, where basically you can upload an image. It's basically the Mac version of Stable Diffusion, but you upload an image to it, and you can say, I want this to be done to it. And there's parameters that you can set, and you tell it what you want, and then you generate the image. And it is amazing what you can do. And so I was on this project where we decided to test out what it would be like if we made like a short video using AI. And there are AI video programs that are getting better and better. And I feel like that's also the future, is the possibility of someone being able to put in a prompt. Maybe they recorded something with just like their camera, but the possibility of then taking that footage and making it into like an animated movie, something that would cost tons and tons of money, but enable like a smaller budget and yet get really good results. That said, I think it's still a tool. It's this tool in your arsenal. It's not just like a flip of a switch. You got a great idea. It's all of a sudden usable. But you have to use your creativity and skills to craft what the AI provides. So like there was this one example of this with these really creative guys that put together this like animated short. And there was a podcast that kind of like went into the behind the scenes, and they still said like there was a lot of time and energy that went behind this, and this AI produced short little film. And like, so like it's yes, there's the possibility of AI really taking off, but at the same time, it's not like all of a sudden there's going to be no need for like individuals to craft the story and to produce a high quality product. The same thing with the image generating and getting that video. It did take time to kind of dial in those settings, because once you had to go kind of frame by frame. Right now, that's what you do. Is so you imported that video into like your video editor, and then you exported it into individual frames, and then you took those individual frames, put it into the Diffusion B or whatever software that is, and then you had to, go through each one, export those. I played with another video one where you could basically have the video, and then you export keyframes in the AI art version, and so that it can kind of use that as the basis, and then use the AI art to kind of fill in the frames as needed. So I think that's probably where things will be headed, was when they can marry the two of those, where they've got the video, just like a regular video like this, like the podcast video, if you're watching. And if you're watching, please smash that subscribe button down below so you don't miss another episode. Encourage you to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. But anyways, you have a video like this, but then you can plug it into a software an AI software that will allow you to do a lot of creative things to it. Like, for example, maybe I want this to look like an anime video, and it could take this, generate with AI, it could generate an anime video. Right now, it's a little bit more cumbersome. But I think as time goes on, they're going to be producing better and better AI for that purpose. Let's see. I wanted to share some of the AIs that I've been using. So, two AI that are up and coming for search. Bing AI. Microsoft spent, I think, billions on their AI program. So Bing AI, I think, could be an interesting one to watch. I don't know if they'll be able to topple Google as the search king, but it's possible. I mean, Google has been there for a long time, but if somebody comes in and creates a more innovative way of searching, I mean, I think AI is the future of search. Let me just say that, because when you're looking for something, right now, you type something in Google, you have to comb through to find the quality. I mean, obviously, Google has gotten really good with their algorithms to put the most important content towards the top, the most relevant. But that said, I think with AI, you can get answers really quickly that are spot on and detailed. And I think that's a future for things like Siri, for Google Assistant, for any like Cortana, if that's still a thing, basically any Alexa, I think will also be powered by AI. It's definitely the future. Another practical one is Notion AI. That's one that I've used in the past. Notion, for those that don't know, it's a very neat software that allows you kind of what I like to call like a website for your life. And you can have databases. It's very, you can get buried in the weeds. And I don't think it's the best project management, but it does have a lot of amazing functionality. So, and the free version is packed with a lot of great things. But for a while, they offered the AI beta for free. And so I was testing that out. And it was amazing what you're able to do with it. Like, you could write YouTube descriptions, you could write sales email, you could write like email copy. Basically, you just plug in a prompt and it generates that answer. Like, you could specify, I want a 1-paragraph YouTube description. I want a poem about this, and it would just generate it. Another interesting AI up and coming is Google Bard. I just got access to the beta version of that. All of this is just like super fast. Like everyone's kind of jumping on the AI bandwagon. Another one that I'm going to be testing out, just got access to, is Adobe Firefly. I believe that's their art AI that they're starting up. But this is just an example of all the different AI that you can use right now. And it's phenomenal. I think it'll only give you more things to choose from, more options to improve your life and improve the quality of your work without having to perhaps spend a ton of time and money to hire out those jobs if you're a one-person band. Or if you work on a team, perhaps that'll allow your team to go further than they would otherwise. So maybe you're also wondering about the concerns of AI, because obviously whoever controls the AI can have a lot of power and might be able to influence how you're searching or the results that you get. And obviously that's a concern. At the same time, I think there's a lot of advantages to embracing AI and the future that it has. Because it's right now, it's in the early stages, and I think it's proven very helpful. One concern that I've heard is that, like, once you kind of have everything filtering through this AI system, does content and does creativity start looking very similar? So art generated by AI is fed back into the machine, and then you're using that AI driven art to generate new art or new text. So does everything start becoming very vanilla, if you know what I mean? It's a fascinating thing to think about, is the impact of using AI and how that will, using, if everyone, let's say, starts using AI, does that impact what the output of the AI? Because obviously the AI has to be grabbing information from somewhere, and for its machine to, create content and learn from. And so I think that's one of the concerns that people have, is that once you kind of have this system where it's generating ideas and then using those ideas again, filtering it through again, all of a sudden you've got this system that's very, within this little bubble of AI world. So that's one thing. I think what could be interesting is it could kind of be this renaissance period of finding new ways to utilize this. It's like the library, or like access to these great works. All of a sudden, that sparked a an expansion of people's understanding and ways of thinking, was free access to literature. Literature, allowed people to learn. And then obviously with the invention of internet, that was very expansive. And so I think that it could help, people's lives. But at the same time, like at the end of the day, if robots take over our day-to-day lives, will we be kind of in this bread and circuses world where, where do we find our meaning and purpose if AI can do just about everything of our day-to-day lives? I think two things could happen. One, we could kind of fall into this lower living where like we kind of have this life by default. People are talking about, having this, what is it? The internet in your brain. I think Elon Musk, where you can have access right installed in your brain. It just seems crazy to imagine, but I mean, that could be the future. I don't know what the ethical implications of that are, but that's something that they're, talking about and exploring, which is hard to believe. But what is the impact on the day-to-day in the future, given things like AI? And so I think we're kind of in this new era. I think it is a defining moment of our time coming into AI. I think history books will probably look back in the early 2000s and talk about how this revolutionized our culture, our way of living, and how we work, how we produce art. And that's the other thing. It's like some very human elements. How does that, like art, music, will AI replace that? Or maybe it elevates the creation of art and music, because that's something that the AI, they can attempt to do it, but maybe less perfect, or they make it more perfect, and then you have something like, what is it called, ikigai? I'm gonna search this term, because basically it's this Japanese concept for, let's see if I can find a good maybe I'm thinking of a different. Okay, I found the term that I was looking for. It wasn't ikigai, it was wabi sabi. Wabi sabi is just a fun thing to say. I think I'm just going to repeat it over and over again. But basically, it means the view or thought of finding beauty in every aspect of imperfection in nature, It is about the aesthetic of things in existence that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. That's what I got from a Google search. So basically finding art in the natural simplicity of life, where there's beautiful and chaos and things that are imperfect. So I think that might be the defining human thing, is like people creating things like podcasts that's imperfect, like the beautiful mess. And with that, I encourage you to rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. So in conclusion, AI, I think it's pretty neat. I think we've got a long way to go. I don't think we're quite finished with developing the underlying principles of AI. And I think the philosophy behind it and how people can use it to improve their lives, but not lessen their lives either. So it's a fine balance, and I'm excited by it. And hopefully you are too. I'll drop some links to some of the things I mentioned down below in the description if you want to check that out. And until next time, my friends, stay messy, and let's see what happens to AI.